Yeah, for the Commonwealth Games, I'm the support coach for the Paratriathlon athletes for Team England. Um, Biggest challenges in high performance coaching. Um, High performance coaching very serious, and what I always like to do is actually try to bring some fun to it. Um, I know within athletics it used to be there was the kind of strapline was fun to fulfillment, but I'd actually rather like it to be fun to fulfillment with fun. So although it's a serious job, it's a serious matter. Again, you're talking at the top end of performance, and athletes are really striving for that extra little bit. But it still needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be fun, and because when it is, then you come back and do more. The Commonwealth Games next year are in April, um, which is a different part of the year to when you normally would be peaking for a major competition, and for the athletes from England who are going to be training in this climate, and then moving to Australia. So I kind of see the big changes are it's peaking at the right time of year, it's dealing with the increase in temperature, but it's also dealing with the time change as well. And there are things that we can put in place to manage all those, and it's getting the buy-in from the athletes and the coaches as well to move that forward, so that when the athletes do get to the Gold Coast, they're in as good a condition as possible when the gun goes. Been coaching in triathlon for about 5 years. So initially we were invited along to a coach education session to deliver some work on the wheelchair racing aspect of triathlon, and then I kind of got involved with the run section for the wheelchair athletes. So I kind of added things up. At the time, for the 6 classes that were there, I was kind of involved with a third of a 6 of everything. So I was making like an 18th of a contribution to triathlon, but that's kind of gradually grown. And so probably over the last 3 years or so, I've been more of as a triathlon coach. So coaching with cycling and into swimming as well. And for somebody who can only just about not drown, it's probably quite an accomplishment to be able to actually make some difference with swimming as well. I think probably the proudest moment of my kind of coaching career was back in 2004, where so I coach, I'm actually married to, and she listens sometimes, to Thompson, and in the run up to Athens Paralympics in 2004, again our daughter had arrived in 2002, and so we were then kind of building up towards the main event, and there was one idea I had, because Tanny, as a result of that, wasn't as strong as she had been previously. So we did a little bit of kind of the technology was to change push rim sizes, and which made her kind of faster out of the gate. So it was changing the gearing on the racing chair, and there was a catastrophe in the 800 metres in Athens, but probably the proudest moment was when Tanny came back and won the gold medal in the 100 metres. And I was coaching with a team at the time, and I think I watched the first 30 metres of the 100 metres, and then I kind of headed up into the stand because I knew that she'd won. Because although she wasn't in the lead at that point, she was on the way through and moving through the field. So I kind of headed back around to the finish point of the 100 metres, and met her as she'd come through, and again, a bit tearful on that one as well, as in completely got it wrong in the 800 metres, but then the big comeback for the 100. Again, that was a really special time. And I think in triathlon, I've just really got to, just generally, triathlon is a really good sport, really supportive, and again, just more and more, there are some great moments that are coming through. So Joe's medal in the World Champs this year was pretty cool, from some of the issues that Joe's had through the year, and but also in a smaller part as well. It's when you, again, coaching somebody who's, again, they're not the top class performer, but actually moving them on. And it's nice to get that telephone call from somebody who says, I did the race, and I was actually, as I was pushing along, I was hearing your voice in the background, and it was moving me on, and I was doing the right things, and I did a PB by 10 minutes, and that was great. So it's those kind of things that really give you the buzz. So my background is in wheelchair racing, and so my specialism is kind of in the run section. But I think one of the things that I kind of bring to the other two sections, so I used to be a cyclist and no reason about with that. But with the swim, I think my benefit has been able to, with no swimming background, is actually come in and ask the kind of stupid questions, which people may have not considered before. So one of the things we kind of changed with the the wheelchair athletes in the pool was that, again, if you have strong legs in swimming, then what you will do is when you get to the end of the pool, you will kick off and head off, and you'll be going quicker, and then you'll gradually slow down into the swim. So for the people who are not able to use the legs, then they hit the end, and then they've got to accelerate back up. And some of the wheelchair athletes were actually getting kind of shoulder injuries and some overuse injuries, and some of the sessions were particularly long. So it kind of worked out that maybe those athletes are probably doing about 10 to 20% more in every session because of the extra swimming they're doing, because they're accelerating to the swim rather than decelerating into it. So that kind of changed things. So that was one of my kind of big inputs as almost kind of a non-swimmer, but looking into swimming and just taking a step back and going, why does that work? Why do we do that? What's that about? And again, just some different ways of looking at things I think would be useful. For people who want to get involved in coaching, I think first of all, it's kind of just get involved with it and start helping. And then what you'll find is that as you kind of start to coach, that maybe you need a bit more information, you need a bit more advice, so then you can actually dip into many of the coaching schemes that are available. And I think it gives you a good background then to fit in the kind of complexities of coaching, if you kind of get that little foundation through that. So again, my coaching background is in athletics, wheelchair racing, and in cycling. And I've started off for kind of this winter is to actually just go back, and I'm going to do my level 1 triathlon coaching. I don't really like to kind of jump in at the high level because there's a lot down there that you actually miss. So I think you're better off starting off with the foundations and then building through. And I'd say that's the kind of what people need to be looking at as well. It is worth the investment of go along to the coaching courses and getting those fundamentals and being able to put them in practice.